Anyway, so that's it in terms of that part. Next part is the Bela bill considers homeschooling as a legal alternative to attending a public school or private school in South Africa. Homeschooling parents will thus not need to worry about the possibility of imprisonment as long as they comply with the provisions set out by the bill, right? They must expect site visits from the Department of Education before registering home education. Damn! Oh, by the way, some parents obviously are complaining about that because, like, now you're gonna have government people coming to my home to check out my home and what I'm doing in my home, you know? Hey, man, yeah, but anyway, I guess if you're gonna choose, because let's.
Side, but I also see the positive.
Yeah, I see both sides too, but at the same time, I'm thinking about that. Like, if you're gonna homeschool your kid, nigga, we have to check out what's going on with that kid. Because we don't know what you'll be doing with the kid.
We have to know.
Yeah, we have to know. Yeah. Yeah,
like,
also.
I mean,
yeah.
Are you teaching the child? Like, bro, like it seems there's fairness in that.
Yeah, true. Also, let's say, but even if you are teaching correctly, nigga, we need to know you're not abusing the kid. Because we know kids, because they come to school, we see them. They get out. Now, when are you going to be keeping the kid at home now? Your kid doesn't even have friends because their school is at home. So now we need to know what's going on. Like, the fuck, you want to keep your kid now? What the fuck? That kind of strange too to complain about. Yeah. Haibo. So school governing bodies must submit their language policies for approval. The policies must consider the linguistic needs in society. Okay, now this is strange. Why are they saying school governing bodies must submit their language policies for approval? Isn't it? They said they're gonna take out school governing bodies in the first.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. It's confusing. But anyway, I need to say this.
Maybe in this point, it means the school governing body is the school itself, not necessarily the government body as in the people.
Maybe they're gonna. I feel like I don't think they're gonna dismantle governing bodies, buddy. I think they're gonna remove some responsibilities from them and give those responsibilities to head teachers. I think that's what they're gonna do, to give more power to head teachers and not governing bodies. I think that's what they're trying to do. But I need to address something, guys. I know we are all Africans, right? I understand this. Guys, I am a Zulu man and I'm proud Zulu, and I advocate that our kids learn Zulu. I want to say this. I don't find it cool that our kid can speak English, especially now you have kids that I'm no tobacco and I am Zulu. Like I don't approve of that. Our kids should learn to speak our languages, right? They should be good in our languages before any other language. But I need to tell you facts though. English pays, bro. It's the language of communication outside of in the world, internationally, outside of South Africa. So we must be careful around that. I understand the notion of actually wanting our kids obviously to learn their home languages, but don't be fooled and think then schools must be taught, classes must be in our indigenous language. Why should they use English in our thingy? My man, trust me, we are in China solving that problem right now. Don't get it twisted about that shit. I don't want to get people fooled about that. You're gonna mess up your kid, bro. English is a language of money and business, bro. Internationally, right? English is the most spoken language as like a second language for people, right? Mandarin is the most spoken language in the world, but English, many people speak English as their second language from their mother tongue. English is that language. Trust me, my man. Trust me, on that point, I wanted to address that. Let's not get fooled around. But I don't know what you think or where you stand with what I'm saying.
No, man, I'm agreeing with that, especially because you have these situations where SA is likely to still be included in many other countries.
Exactly.
Where our English language is one of the
it's proficient. Ones. Yes.
And if we get into a situation where it gets removed, because I see some places where they're not wanting to count it in there. Then we're going to have a problem later on. Because I know there are many African countries where the English language is not included in many of those lists.
Yeah.
So it just definitely needs to be.
Yeah, don't fool yourself around this one. Trust me, it's a language of business, bro. That's how you communicate internationally. Now, school codes of conduct must accommodate cultural and religious beliefs, such as having provisions for students to seek exemptions for certain code requirements. Now, I had questions about this. These are the questions that I had, buddy. What does this mean, right? 1, someone needs to go pray during your class. Do you allow them to go outside and pray because it's 1? Hey man, sometimes, you can call your own problems. I don't know, right? I understand it in a sense, but at the same time, you must ask yourself those type of questions, right? What if kuyagundwa esikoleni and mina ngiyathwasa ngifuna ukufaka ubuhlalo ekhanda sengizofaka ubuhlalo ekhanda esikoleni? Is that where we're going? How far are we taking this shit? Like, we must be careful as to how far are you willing to go with this route, The reason I'm saying this, again, being in an international school, I should know better. These kids have these provisions here, and the kids abuse the hell out of this shit. These type of provisions, they abuse the shit out of these provisions. They get away without submissions. They are giving leeway to pass. They go around the system. So in other words, if you're saying exemption from certain codes requirements, right? You might include assessments, I guess. I don't know, right? We might have a problem whereby someone is unable to do something. Then what? My man, like, I'm telling you, bro. I am telling you. Here, you can run into a trap and you're trapping yourself here. Yes, buddy, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, because these kids, they will learn these laws.
Yeah,
rules that you are creating.
Yeah.
And they will use it as like in that school, in the school. Kids found out what the laws mean, and then they were actually finding ways around it.
Yeah. And for the most part, sorry, Paddy, as you are cutting, for the most part, you're back. For the most part, too, this usually works for Model C schools, private schools. Those are the kids who know what's what. Public schools are baguettes. They don't complain. They do what is asked. But private school kids, my man, I'm telling you, bro. They know, because I know this from our kids, the ones that we are teaching here overseas. Also, I know it from home. Because there's so many things that were different at home between when I went to public schools and when I went to private schools. In private schools, kids knew their rights, dog. Like what the teacher said, right? Like the teacher can't say that to us. Let's write to the principal, bro. I've never been like that. I've never been exposed to such things until I went to private school. Private school kids don't fuck around, dog. A kid, what did the principal say? Okay, shit. Let's write a petition. This teacher said this and we're gonna give this letter to the principal. All of a sudden the teacher is apologizing. I'm gonna lose my job. You have to forgive me. Hey, private school kids. Exactly though. Yeah, man. Anyway, is there anything you want to add on that?
So oh my gosh. So are we saying we can't give those privileges to public school kids so they can complain?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying public schools, these policies will be applied mostly by private school kids, because public school kids usually don't know those things about their rights and stuff like that. That's why they accept things like corporal punishments. Whereas private school kids are much more likely to be the ones who are benefiting from these things that are meant in these bills. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying who must get one and not. I know corporal punishment was ended long time ago, but public school kids still take corporal punishment. In private school, never. That shit was never gonna fly in my school. That's for sure. Not with the kids who get angry for a teacher saying footsack to them or saying they are monkeys. Not to them, dog. Forget about it. Not those kids, man. Not those kids. Never, dog. Never. Meanwhile, in public school, our kids will accept anything. Anyway, the last part of this bill is corporal punishments. The bill emphasized the ban of corporal punishments in school. And then also people basically who obviously commits corporal punishment might get fines and possible jail time and what's not, right? Me as a teacher, buddy, actually I don't believe in corporal punishment anyway. I feel like once you have to resort to corporal punishment, you've lost the fight a long time ago. Might as well go home.
Lost.
Yeah, you've lost.
Yeah, you've lost the kid.
Might as well go home. Yeah, I've never had to hit any kid. I'm glad also, right? I mean, and our kids, to be fair, are respectful to a certain extent.
worked during its time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, it's no longer time for that. It's not like it's time for different type of communication.
Yeah, because also we have generation to generation, people are different, man. People are different from one generation to, because if you think about our generation was the generation to fight against corporal punishment and start ending it to a certain extent, right? Because as time went by, corporal punishment was ending, and then once you get to 2000, then they don't have corporal punishment as much like at that time. So also, as you're saying, communication wise it's different now. Kids are not the same, right? So yeah, so in that sense, I mean, I'm surprised that we even having this actually corporal punishment, but those are the things that stood out for me.
I think it's because I'm sure, I'm probably positively sure there are still schools that are still applying corporal punishment. Like, you are late, 18,
yeah,
around the school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still do those things.
Yeah, they still do those things. That's true. Actually, in Asekaya, actually, some schools are still doing those things. Actually, even to the school where my dad used to go to, they still do those things. So, yeah, for sure. Okay. Just in conclusion, in terms of this bill, my thoughts. Okay. I feel like, for the most part, for me, it's unnecessary, the bill. That's how I feel. Because the reason I say this, I just feel like we are solving third world problems, first world problems, and we are a third world country. That's how I feel. Like, it will be having bills about a bunch of nothings, really. Like, I don't get it, What about Wi-Fi? All the schools have Wi-Fi. Like, bruh, dog. Yeah, for me, that's how I feel. Like, what about that? What about having Wi-Fi's and laptops? Oh, the kids that we have here, all of them have laptops and shit. What about shit like that? Like, what about just, even if you don't have Wi-Fi's, even if you don't have laptops for all the kids, but you have, like, laptop labs that kids can use openly, and they have free Wi-Fi. Kids have cell phones too. Actually, even kids in rural areas or kids in the hood, they have their own cell phones, actually. Forget even not buying them laptops. But what about them having a Wi-Fi? What if we create a culture, like a university culture, where kids can go home, change, eat, and go back to school? Like, what if we have a culture like that? In university, you can go home at your place, sleep in your place, and then go back to school if you want to. Go to lane, open your computer, whatever you want to do. What if we have something like that? What if we create a culture like that kids can do that? What about those things? Those are the things that I would say from a third world country we need to develop. All these things that I said here, it's a bunch of nothings for a third world country, man. Sorry. That's how I feel, man. What do you feel?
No, I'm not. I'm thinking about the thing. I mean, obviously, you're just making a dumb point or a point in a sense, but I'm trying to imagine the risk of having to do that where kids can go home, because I think at some point, I think it's a nice structure, because I think it's a world structure where you can. A school environment is technically forced upon time, but then the more you progress in education, the more type of freedom you have in terms of what you can do. Because that's what the difference between university and high school is. It's like university, you get a sense of freedom. Like, you are, if aufuni, that's your choice. You are given a point of view, the choice. But high school, according to even the bill itself, it's not a choice. You have to be educated. So when you actually have a choice when you are older, it's you who made a choice. So now you are suffering because you made the decision. But in terms of high school, you were forced. So now we're leaving it up to your hands later on.
Yeah, but I think obviously kids can have to go to school. Like, the structure of their school is cool. I'm talking about a culture of that. after school, kids can come back to school because there's Wi-Fi at school and they can use computers at school. Yeah, I'm talking not to make a school a high school a varsity. No, what the fuck? No, kids should go to school, go 8. Let's cut around getting us. They pumu 2:15, no more 3. Let's cut so pum. But I'm saying after that they can go home, change. They want to go back to school. Go back to school. That's what I'm saying. You know, a culture like that, whereby school is the place to be. There is Wi-Fi. There is developments in terms of playing fields. Kube nama ground righty. Kube kona ama facilities whereby kids can have a life at school, like a campus. University if campus if uyazi kanjani ama campuses university mase kuphumile isigele sekuyajinyo ebholweni badlala ibhola naba abantu sebegqoka izinto abantu bayo rehearse hacks there is theater things abay rehearse for their shows abanye bayo gym le grounding naba be basketball sebale abathanda isonto naba sebale bafuna ukuya esontweni. Yeah, understand that life, that's what I mean. You know, whereby there's just everything at school. We have that surrounding a school whereby kids can have a life actually outside of them being in class when they finish with their classes. Because I feel like those type of things, those are the things that can change these issues that we have of crime and stuff like that. That's what I mean. You know, not to change the school structure. What the fuck? No, everything is fine. But I'm saying this bill is just addressing first world problems, like. Not even, because it doesn't even help. It's just saying these things. Like, the fuck?
That's funny. This is weird. This is on the side note. Yeah. Because it's what you were saying that made me curious about this. I'm curious about the... because I'm actually Googling it right now. The first, second, and third world... Because I've never heard people talking about second world countries. It's always either first or
third. Yeah, true.
Now I'm researching who is in the second world country. But man, this list, I'm not sure, maybe it needs to be changed or whatever, but I'm a second world country. Because they have China here, and they also have Russia, and they have obviously other countries, or Georgia, Ukraine, North Korea, Vietnam, Mongolia, Cuba. Those are regarded, and Poland, those are regarded as second world countries.
Nah, so China is not.
Who is the first?
Nah, China can't be a second world country, man. Even US is not touching China now. It's impossible. China, it's impossible. China, I get it, bro. These guys are gone, dog. You know, when it comes to that, it's one thing you have to give it up to the Chinese, dog. They got the game down. Anyway, that's my conclusion, though, buddy. Any remarks as we close this part?
No, man. I think I was just